I'm ready when you are.
Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Chrissy, with another episode of Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy. Thank you for joining me this Sunday. As always, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining the Cipher. So if you are a first-time watcher, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that you can see what's going on, the shows we've got coming on, all of that. But with all that out of the way, I want to welcome my guest and thank her very, very much for agreeing to come on the show and share her story with us. I think it's an amazing one. Miss Mary Jenkins, welcome to Cipher Knowledge. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit, just we're going to dig deep, but just a little quick synopsis of who you are and what you're doing these days.
What am I doing these days outside of endeavoring to live my best life? I am changing people's lives, really, especially in the world of cancer. So I am the founder of a cancer organization that provides emotional support and financial assistance to active treatment cancer patients, because I am not a one, but a two-time cancer survivor. And so I spend the majority of my time raising money and encouraging people to know that just because they've been diagnosed with cancer, it's not the end of living. And so that's what I'm up to most of the time. But when I'm not doing that, I'm a mother. I have three incredible sons, Edwin, Joseph, and Jerry, we call BJ. And I have a daughter-in-law named Candace and an amazing grandson named Jude. To enjoy family time, serving at my church, and just enjoying life.
Love it all. That's amazing. That's nothing but life right there. You just spoke life into all of it. So thank you again, like I said, for coming on. I do kind of want to, first delve into the story, with your journey with breast cancer. And what I wanted to know was, when you were first diagnosed the first time, how was that discovered? Was it something routine? Was it an accidental find? And the reason I ask this, because I think a lot of women are so put off about going and getting their yearly checkups, as well as just after 40 doing the mammogram, which we won't tell anybody. So, so tell us, how was that first diagnosis? Like, how did you find out?
Okay. So, shout out to my son, BJ. He says he saved my life, which technically, well, he did. I mean, God used him too. And what happened was, I was 37 and I was in ministry school. And so two things were going on at the same time. I was in ministry school studying about faith. And I was like, man, I'm trying to have faith like these people from the charismatic movement, where they would just believe God incredibly through life circumstance. So I was like, I want to have faith like that on one side. And then at the same time, I was being the amazing single mother, in control, wrestling with my sons because I wanted them to understand that I'm mom. And with my youngest son, he and I were wrestling, and he elbowed me in the chest. And when he elbowed me in the chest, he elbowed me right in the right breast. And I was like, oh my goodness. And of course, I had to milk it for it. I was like, oh my goodness, you hurt Mom. Now I'm not going to be able to do nothing. You're going to have to clean the house and everything. I do all that. But I was like, I'm going to have to wait a couple of days. I said, I'm just going to pray. For 3 days, it was still hurting. And I was like, that's a problem. I need to go to the emergency room, because maybe he done broke something in there. Because I mean, it was a, I mean, I can't say it was a good hit. I mean, we were wrestling. It was an accident, but it was enough for me to have pain for 3 days. And so on the third day, I went to the emergency room, and the emergency room doctor, he was feeling, and he was like, I think I feel something, but I'm not sure. And I was like, what do you mean you think you feel something? And what do you mean you're not sure? And I mean, because to me, I'm like, if you feel something, you feel something. And right. So I was 38. I was getting ready to turn 38, because I turned 38 on Christmas Day that year. And he suggested that, well, actually, he made the recommendation that I go have a mammogram done. So I wasn't even 40 yet.
Wow.
And so, yes, I am a Christmas baby.
I that's what I just said.
Yes.
You got gypped. That's all I'm gonna say. You got ripped off.
You know, I think probably when I was younger, but then as I got older, and then when I got saved and got in church, I was like, man, I'm upstaged by Jesus. Come on now.
There you go.
You can't beat that.
Nope.
So, but I went ahead and I went in January of 2006. It was January the 10th, and I went in to have a mammogram done. And when I went in, you know, I was nervous about it because I had never had one before. And I had heard the horror stories where people were like, oh, it hurts so much this, and it hurts so much that. Here's my public service announcement to women that are afraid to go get their breasts, have their mammogram. Go get the mammogram done, because the little 10 seconds that they squish your titty is nothing in comparison to what you go through if you actually have cancer. I mean, it just is like that. And I say it that way. I mean, some people are like, oh my God, she said that.
No,
I'm like,
I'm glad you said it that way. That's right.
That's real.
Yes.
I had this mammogram done. They did it, and then they had me sitting in the back room longer than I thought was normal. And then when the nurse's patient advocate came in, said, oh, well, they see something, and they want to do a guided ultrasound. Okay. Not the biopsy yet. They just wanted to do the ultrasound because they wanted to see how big it was. And I was like, okay. So we did the ultrasound, and it was almost 5 centimeters. Wow. But the thing is, it was literally in the absolute center of my breast. If you could envision like a softball, most people don't know that the center of a softball is a hard core, and you can't feel it. And so this mass was literally perfectly centered in my right breast, and my son elbowing me in the chest hurt me enough to get me to the emergency room. That led me to having a mammogram. That led me to having the mammogram, the ultrasound, and then they did and it came back stage 3, almost stage 4 breast cancer.
Wow.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
yeah. I mean, so it was an accident. But I'm like, okay. So of course, my youngest son says that he saved my life, and I'm like, yes, God used you to save my life, baby. Okay.
Yeah, you still got to do them dishes though.
Right. Right. You still gonna act right. Yes, you are the chosen one, but you still gonna act right.
I'm telling you, miracles happen every day. And, with me being a nurse, that was why I actually, like I said, I prompted that question, was because some women are afraid to go, or I feel fine. Nothing feels wrong. Nothing's changed. I'm okay. I don't need to go check it out. And then I know what a lot of cancers too, it's usually an accident. You're there for something else. And they're like, hey, by the way, and I think pancreatic cancer is like that. Like, hey, you were in here for something else. And then by the time you find it, it's stage 4,
Right. So, right. And like for men, because men get diagnosed with breast cancer also, and then they're like, we don't have breasts. Like, you have pectoral muscles, you can get diagnosed with breast cancer, and or even with prostate cancer, men don't pay attention to some of the basic signs. Like if you go, here you go, if you're peeing and your stream is real weak, something's going on. Because I mean, we remember little boys as kids, and I don't know if other kids did it, but little boys be out there and they pee in the snow, and
it melt like a whole nice block. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, if you don't have a strong stream, there's something going on. Go get checked. And men don't want to do that, because that's actually how I found my father when he had prostate cancer, was because I was paying attention to his stream one day, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. My dad, I know a lot of men who don't like the prostate exam. But it has to happen. One day my dad ended up with new onset diabetes, ended up in the hospital. He was, out of it. Like, his blood sugar was 1200. I don't even know how he was even still forming words. But I was like, listen, ain't no time like now to go give him a prostate exam, because he can't. And they actually did. They And I was like, so after he finally came back and everything, so I was like, you got your prostate exam, right? He was like, no, I didn't. I was like, yeah, some pretty nurse, some pretty doctor came in the room. I was like, and she's the one who did it. He was like, her. I was like,
yep. Well, and now, for the men that are out there that may be nervous, you can actually get your prostate exam. They can do it by blood test now.
Oh, okay. So they look for the levels, right?
They look for the levels, and if the levels are there, they're going to check.
Yeah, but that's not going to bring up BPH.
Correct.
You got it. See?
Correct. You can't get away from it. I mean, you just can't get away from it. No. It's better just to go ahead and suck it up. And the little bit of uncomfortable feeling that a man has is nothing in comparison to what they would go through for prostate cancer.
There you go.
It all comes down to that.
Absolutely. So what kind of emotions did you cycle through? Like what, when you were first diagnosed, like how did you process through, knowing now life was going to be a little bit different?
I had like I said, I was in ministry school. So for me, it was like, okay, I done been diagnosed with cancer. I'm gonna be Jobette. Job in the Bible, who was sick. So I'm about to be Jobette now. And I'm going to live out the scriptures. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I was lightweight excited. And I'm like, because this is now the testing of my faith for real. What do I really believe? And so for me, I went straight to scriptures. I mean, that was like, okay, all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I love God and I know I'm called. So that means something good has to come out of this. Whew, I don't know what I'm about to go through, but something good's got to come out of this. What you mean I need to go through chemo? Well, no, first, what you mean you want me to cut my breast off? I'm not ready to cut my girl off. We've got to have something else to do, but I'm still going to trust that I'm going to live and not die and declare the works. So I was like, so all those things when I had the I don't know what to do moments, there was a scripture that I could rely on. And I call them my power scriptures. So I actually had 40 scriptures that I relied on and was like, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, it just didn't make any sense to me that this was happening because it was so it was just out of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm be honest, I never had seen anyone that was an African-American talking about breast cancer. So we got breast cancer. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anybody, no one in my family. I had no history. I had nothing. I didn't know anything about it. And so when I got diagnosed, I was like, which black people get what? What? I'm about to let everybody know because okay, breast cancer, Susan G. Komen Foundation, I'm coming for you because I'm going to be the voice. I'm going to be the one to make certain that, especially when I found out that African-American females get diagnosed less often, but we die more often. Honey, I'm about to save the world. And that's what I was going to do for the Komen Foundation. So I got trained and everything. I learned the whole story. I could tell the Komen Foundation from Nancy Brinker to when her sister, all that. I could tell all of that. But then when I was going through treatment, I had started chemotherapy because I wasn't ready to have my breast removed. And I was like, can we try something else first? And so it was suggested to do chemo. It's like, okay, I'll do chemo. Does this mean I'm going to lose my hair? Because I wasn't ready for that either because I had long hair at the time. And I was like, I just can't win. I got some wigs made. They was crazy looking at me. So I went bald headed. And the thing was, I started this chemo. And then I was still trying to go to work. And I was going to work. And I was getting weaker and weaker. And I was getting sicker and sicker. And, there were times when my oldest son, Edwin, picked me up off the floor in the bathroom because I couldn't get up. And there were times when I would press my way to work and they'd find me in the bathroom on the floor because I was just so sick and so weak. But the thing was, single parent. My husband died on active duty when I was 19. So I had a pension, but that wasn't all I had. I had a full-time job also. And those household incomes together took care of the household. Yeah. And so when it got to where I couldn't go to work and my employer wanted me to, literally my employer let me go so that I could focus on my recovery, which I thought was great at the moment because I was like, well, okay, I don't got to get up and go to work. Jesus, I'll be able to be with you. I'll be able to learn more about the Coleman Foundation. I'll be able to do all these things. But then I had bills to pay.
Uh,
And when the bills came due, it was like, I still have to pay rent. And I'm not working now. I still had to
yeah.
pay the rent. I still got to pay the electric, the gas, the water, the car note. I still got bills. And so in my mind, I was like, I'll go to the, Komen Foundation. They the breast cancer people. They the race for the cure. Millions of dollars raised. I'm their girl. I done learned. I done been out there. I'll go to them and ask them for help. And that was when I got the awakening of a lifetime, because that's when I learned that of the millions of dollars that they raise, it is not used for people that are actively battling cancer to help them pay their bills. I understand it funds research, which I think is great. It funds getting mammograms, which I also think is great. It funds getting information out to people that have had cancer, which I think is great. But it does not help the people that are actually battling cancer pay the electric, gas, the water, the house, no car, stuff like that. And that for me didn't make sense. It just didn't. And that started me on a journey. And I've been on that journey ever since. It's been 15 years now. And it's been, and I'll say it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey, because you could not have told me that I would affect change at the level that I have as a result of me being diagnosed with cancer.
And we're going to get to that change that you have provided so many, but it didn't end there, right? Because did you go into remission and then again? So
Yes.
what happened?
Well, so we went through 2006 getting diagnosed. Then in 2012, I had reconstruction surgery. So for years, I was busy building the organization. So I created this nonprofit called the COC with the purpose of providing financial assistance and emotional support to breast cancer patients, because that's what I knew. When we were 4 months old, we got a referral of a woman who had cervical cancer. And I told her we could not help her because she had the wrong type of cancer. Which in that moment, I was like, that don't even sound right. What's the wrong type, right type? What? Yes. And so I reached out to my board and I explained that I never wanted to say to someone ever again in life that they had the wrong type of cancer. And so my board was like, Mary, do you understand what you're saying? Yes. Yes. In my mind, I meant in Columbus, Ohio, where I live, but it didn't happen that way because we said anybody. And so people started coming from Cincinnati and Toledo and Cleveland, Ohio. And I was like, well, we'll figure out how to help them. We can't say they have to be from Columbus, Ohio. We'll figure it out. And then they started coming from Georgia and New York and California and Texas. And I was like, okay, we can't say that they have to be from Ohio. So we get to figure it out. And then they started coming from Collingswood, Ontario, and Mexico, and Johannesburg, South Africa, and Ghana, and Turkey, and Australia. And I'm like, whoa, what have I created? So
good.
Something incredible.
Yes.
And so that was up through there. And then, like I said, I spent 6 years building the organization because I was like, forget a breast. I ain't worried about a breast. It don't matter if you have one breast or two breasts. It don't matter. That don't make you a woman. I'm every woman.
There you go.
I did not care at all. So I had this reconstruction done. Then the reconstruction failed, almost killed me, put me in a nursing home for 6 months. I'm still building the organization from the nursing home. And people are like, who is that woman in the nursing home? And I'm like, I'm trying to raise money to help people. So then in 2015, I got diagnosed the second time. And I was like, what?
Same breast?
No, because I had the right breast removed. Okay. And then it was in the left breast, but it wasn't metastatic. It was a whole different strain.
Wow.
So it was like, how'd that happen? How you have a whole different one. So I got diagnosed a second time. That one there, I did aggressive chemo again and almost killed me, caused me to have heart failure, diabetic ketoacidosis, full diabetic, all kind of stuff. And I'm like, why everything trying to take me out? Why? But it's been an incredible journey. People have no idea. They have no idea I think back in my early 20s when, because I had my first son when I was 18. Then I got married. I got married, became a widow, and had my second son when I was 19, and then had my third son when I was 21. And but when I was 25, I can remember there being a thick discharge from my breast.
Mm.
And I just figured, oh, I had nursed and this was left over and I was working out and I figured it was something. I tried to self-diagnose. And if only somebody had said to me, you need to go get checked, then they might have found it at stage 1 instead of stage 3, almost stage 4.
I am just sitting here in awe of the way you tell your story with a smile on your face. Like you are illuminating the room, and it's just, I'm telling you, like to have that much strength and that much, just to have that much faith and know that there is a purpose for all of this. Not too many people can walk around like that. So I absolutely am in awe of it. Hey, Chrissy, my mom, this is from Dion James. Hey, Chrissy, my mom was a 2-time survivor, but passed away because she had a stroke while on chemo.
I am so sorry.
Sincere apologies, condolences to you. And he wants to know, how difficult was it for Mary to keep the organization? Well, we're going to get there, because to keep it going, it is still going. So
Yeah.
we're going to get there, and it's a great transition now to get there. You started the COC. I want you to tell us what that is, but we spoke privately and you told me your story on how you recognized this was your anointment.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I want you to tell the audience
Yeah.
that too, but you do it in whichever way you want to do it first.
I tell it the same way all the time, because I'm like, it's my story. It's my life story. For me, so when I was going through treatment, okay, I get laid off work. I need help paying the bills. I reached out to to Komen Foundation, to the American Cancer Society, to all these places to get the help that I needed, and I could not find what I needed. So I ended up at my church venting at the altar, because I was like, now God, you said you're a supplier of my need and you're a way maker and all these things. And how is it that I'm about to lose everything? How is it that we're about to be, get evicted, have car repossessed? How is this happening when I'm trusting you? And I was venting so loud that the people that were in the back office overheard me, my pastor and them. And they were like, what is going on, MJ? And so I explained what was happening. And they were like, you are a member in good standing at the church, and you're a tither, and we love you. How about the church take care of your bills for you the rest of the time that you're in treatment? And I was like, oh my God, that's good for me. But what about all the other breast cancer patients that need help? What about all them? Like, we don't know them. We know you. And I was like, well, somebody needs to get out there and let people know where money does go and where money doesn't go, because people have no idea. And they were like, right, Mary, somebody needs to. And I was like, right, somebody, we got to find somebody. And they were like, right, Mary. And then it dawned on me, I was like, not me, because I don't do that. They was like, why not you? Just tell your story. And so I did. I told the story, and I knew that this was going to be what I would be doing for for the rest of my life. When I was in chemo, and I remember watching and seeing this woman that was having chemo treatment. There was a gentleman that was knelt down next to her, which I later found out was her husband. And when he was knelt down next to her, he was crying. And I was like, that's odd. That just stood out to me. And so when I finished my chemo session, they unhooked me. And then I sashayed over to them and was like, hi, my name is Mary Jenkins. It's going to be okay. Can I help you? And, because I just be doing stuff like that. And so the gentleman explained the situation, and it was and he said his wife, after she finished doing chemo, she would get sick, and they were unable to leave the city because they were from Lima, Ohio. And they normally would get a hotel room, stay overnight, and then leave the next day. Well, this time they couldn't find any place that would let them stay for free. And they didn't have the money to get a hotel room. And so he had just, try not to get emotional. Okay. He had told his wife that they were going to sleep in the car.
Mm. Mm.
And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, like, oh my God. And so I reached down in my purse and I just pulled out a wad of money, and I don't even know how much I gave them, but I just gave them a handful of money and was like, here you go. Hope this helps. And I walked away. And then I could hear them in the background, like, oh my God, she's an angel. And I was like, you know what, God, I could do this for the rest of my life. And so since then, I have been able to the organization, because it's not me, it's not just me, it's the organization that does it. The organization has been able to provide the support, like to get people out of situations where there have God, okay, I try not to get emotional.
It's okay. It's okay.
There have been instances where there are children that are battling cancer, and they come from single parent homes, and the parent has to choose between being at the hospital or being with their child. And I have been, when I used to go into the children's hospitals, I would see kids on the cancer ward, and they'd be by themselves, and there was nobody there with them. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. And the reason the parent wouldn't be there was because the parent was at work. And I was like, please give them our information. Please have them reach out to us, because we raise money to help pay bills. And I said, there's somebody out there. I have declared it this year that there is somebody out there that wants to write $1 million check to the organization, because the need is greater than that. Every day we are getting requests for financial assistance, and we're like, we get to do whatever's legal, moral, and ethical to raise money to help people. I'm like, I will stay up 24 hours a day and talk. And just, if people will support and get the word out, because I'm like, we're not funded by grant dollars all like that. We don't get the big grants. We've gotten 2 grants in 15 years.
Wow.
The first one was for $5,000. The second one was for $10,000, and that was it. The rest of the years we have been, I fundraise for real. I have no problem.
I do not doubt you at all.
And I explain to people, I don't have a problem asking for donations, because there's somebody out there that's battling cancer that is hoping I get a donation that can help them. So it's not about me at all whatsoever. It is strictly about, the reason I do this is because of other people. And people are like, well, man, who are you? And where did you come from? I'm like, all I am is somebody that battled cancer and went through it, and I needed help and I couldn't find it. And so I created. And when I, just so for people that, if they go to the website, the COC was once called Christians Overcoming Cancer. And what we did was, people used to do things like, they would call and they, hey, my name is Amanda, or Donna, and I'm calling because I'm in treatment. I got referred by the American Cancer Society, and they told me that you guys might be able to help me pay some bills. And I'm also a Christian. And so they would just throw that in there, and I was like, no. These folk think that
you have to be,
you got to be a Christian in order to get our services. So we need to fix that. And so my beautiful millennials that are in my life said, it looks like you have to be a Christian to get the services because of the name. We're like, well, then we need to come up with a different name. And so that's why we know it was, if the YMCA, like, most people don't know what YMCA stands for. That's Young Men's Christian Association.
I didn't even know that. See that?
Right. Most people don't. It's like, okay, people remember the song. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Okay, we don't have a song, but we've gone from being Christians Overcoming Cancer to the COC. And, the COC is our Cancer Option Collaborative, all that stuff, because we want people to know that we do not discriminate in any way, shape, or form. We do not care about race, gender, preference, orientation. I don't even know all the possible religion. I don't even know all the possible discriminations that's out there. I don't care. Because what I do know is cancer don't care. Because
that's right.
You can be financially secure. You could be a very wealthy person and
Non-discriminatory.
get
Yep.
diagnosed, or you can be somebody that's homeless and get diagnosed. And with pandemic going on, all of the ways that we would fundraise for, we normally partner trade shows, the big trade events.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to go to the IBS show in New York, the hair show, and set
Uh-huh.
up a booth and ask people to give donations, because we do all the hair show stuff. We have a campaign called Hairstyles and Beauty for Hope, and we would go and we'd ask people to make a donation. Well, when the pandemic decided
That
to
took a
show
lot of
up,
that away.
we're not doing shows. And if there's no shows, then that means we don't get to go and we don't get to interact with people, so we don't get the donations.
But that's why there's these shows now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you gotta listen. You're not lying or talking about going out there and getting it how you gotta get it. I want to get to this comment real quick, only because I guess we can kind of answer him in some way. So
Okay.
Dion Jane says she started an organization talking about his mom 3 months prior to her passing, and I was the president, and it eventually disbanded. My mom made it very clear that breast cancer is much different from white women and Black women.
That is true.
There's a difference. So he said, I will pass the website along. I have 2 cousins on both sides of my family in their 40s who have breast cancer. Thank you for what you do.
You are very, very welcome. And thank you for sharing our information and giving us the opportunity to be able to serve. When it comes down to the races, that is very, very true. And, if you just look at the socioeconomic situations, African American females, Black females, we're usually the ones that we will just keep going and keep going and keep going until we almost fall out before we'll go to the hospital. And as a result, we're getting diagnosed at higher stages. And that's why, Black women get diagnosed less often, but we die more often. And part of the reason is because we won't go to the doctor, because I got to take the kids to school, because I got to go to work, because the house is clean, because I got to do this and I got to do that, and I gotta, and not putting ourselves.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if there's nothing going on, you don't think anything's going on, right?
But here's the thing. You know what? Oh, that lump that I feel, that's probably because my cycle's getting ready to come on. Or that lump that I feel is probably because I done ate the wrong thing. Trying to self-diagnose, and then next thing you know, the person been diagnosed with cancer, when had you just taken your tail to the doctor.
Yes. But also some of that comes from, being able to get those resources for free mammograms, because not too many people. So there are resources out there. The problem is, are they directing those resources to the right population and demographics?
See,
right?
Here's the thing. I mean, because I'm like the Susan G. Komen Foundation. They are great at partnering with local organizations to specifically provide mammograms for the underserved or uninsured. They are there. And like I said, the thing is, we won't ask about them, because here you go, we deal with pride. I don't want to ask anybody. I don't want to ask. Free. I don't want to go get free. I don't want to ask. I don't want to let anybody know. All that goes out the window when there's a possibility of a cancer diagnosis. Put all that stuff aside. Go ahead and go ask for the free mammogram. Take the free mammogram. Get a diagnosis. Most of the time, African American females have their more dense breasts, so you got to get a different type of test. Get the tests done. And so they're out there. It's the thing is, people don't know. So
yeah,
we get to share.
So education is definitely the first component of it, and that is why I do this show.
You still there?
To provide.
Oh,
yeah,
you
I'm
froze.
still here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's the whole reason and purpose of my show, is to provide information, to have people on like you who can share their stories and tell reasons why to go get this and go do this. Are you still there? Can you hear me? I think we're freezing up a little bit. But so listen, while Mary's transitioning back from the internet world, you there now?
I can hear you. You're breaking up some, but I can hear you.
Okay. So her website is www.thecoccares.org. So I transitioned this to audio, and that's why you'll hear me speak things, just read things, because when I transition to audio, I want to make it translate accordingly. I'm here. You're freezing up a little bit. Are you there now?
This is see the internet is acting up.
But
Okay,
you're
it's got
back.
to act
I
right.
can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How can
Okay.
people
Okay.
reach out and donate?
Ooh,
Not only,
this the internet.
Yes. Are you there now? There you go. Can you hear me? See me? Okay. So how can people reach out and donate, not just receive assistance, but also help with the organization?
Okay. Oftentimes people wonder, how come we don't do a lot of things like other cancer organizations do? We don't have a walk, we don't have a race. We don't oftentimes in our case, our focus, actually not oftentimes, in every case, our focus is dollars and cents for us. We have partner organizations that will send us care packages for us to give to people that are battling cancer, which I think are great. They are really, really great. They are feel good, but they will never pay the electric bill. They won't pay the gas bill. And people are like, Mary, you shouldn't be like that. I'm like, this is where my passion is. I understand the struggle. We get referrals from Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I'm like, come on, Make-A-Wish Foundation. You'll send a family of 4 to Disney World, spend $15,000 to send them, but they can't pay their rent. I mean, and I understand. Go, baby, go have a great experience. Enjoy your time with Mickey. I understand that. My thing is, use some of that money that you're spending for that to help the families stay in their home, to pay their electric, their gas, water, stuff like that. I mean, that.
Yeah, because I definitely often wondered about that.
In our case, we go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You finish.
I think so. In our case, we are in search of those people that want to be a blessing to help those that are battling cancer pay their bills. And so, whether it's a person says, we want to adopt a family. I mean, because people said they fill out an application online, they submit it, and then we verify that they are in active treatment. So we don't do that ourselves. We actually reach out to their doctor, and because I want to help everybody, but the reality is we can't help everyone. So the doctors determine if the person is in active treatment. When the doctor says yes, then we then go on to verify what their need is, because we want to make certain that the need is the result of being in treatment and not, you can't, you've been in treatment for 2 months, but your electric bill is 4 months past due. That means you were irresponsible. And, that's a different type of conversation you get to have. And so we focus on the bills. And so that's our number one thing. Putting us in touch with people. If people want to host fundraisers, they can. There's so many different creative ways in which a person can get involved, but they just got to get involved in the right way, because we don't accept clothing. We don't do that. We don't provide clothes to people that are battling cancer. We're not a food pantry. We don't do that. We partner with other organizations that provide those services. And we do that nationally. So we're not limited to just Columbus, Ohio. But our thing is, we've got to have the resources to help the people with what they need help with. So the number one way to get involved is financially in making a donation, or putting us in touch with people that can make donations. And they with the understanding that the money is used to support our mission of providing emotional support and financial assistance to active treatment cancer patients.
Awesome. So what if somebody wanted to make a one-time donation? Can they go to the website and do that?
Yes, they can go to, on our website at www.thecoccares.org, right across the top, you will see donate. and a person can go there and they can donate by PayPal, by Cash App, by Venmo, and they can decide if they want to make it a one-time donation or a monthly donation. If they do it online through PayPal, they can make it as a monthly donation. And so one of the things that we did, I want to regress a little bit, with last year, because of pandemic, we were unable to fundraise our normal way. And so we created a challenge. It's called the 5 Alive Challenge. Simplest challenge out there. The 5 Alive Challenge is a way in which people can get involved, and it's easy as 1, 2, 3. The first step is to make a donation. Make a donation for more dollars, however a person's led. The second step is to ask 2 other people to do the same thing. And then the third step is to share. So that means everyone can. And I'm crazy enough to believe that I can find 10,000 people that will agree to donate $5 a month. I mean, I'm just that crazy. And then, so I can be found on now Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And so Clubhouse has 10 million people on there. So I'm like, I'm about to introduce myself to all 10 million of them. I'm about to ask everybody.
Go. I'm one of those 10 million.
All right. All right. So yes. So if a person wanted to, they can do that. They can go online. They can make a donation. They can mail a check in. They can do that as well. So.
Awesome. Is this something that they can write off at the end of the year towards their taxes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are a 501c3 organization. And so with the 501c3 nonprofits, yes, you can write off what you've given as a tax deductible donation. Yes.
Listen, this is a win-win, right? Like you get to write off your taxes at the end of the year, and then also you're helping such a great cause. I mean, I am a big, big proponent of helping wherever we can. And you're absolutely right. $5 a month. Like, let's think about what we spend $5 a month on, right? A bag of chips and a soda. That's like probably every day of the week. So you're looking at like
a coffee from Starbucks.
35. Yeah, like, come on. Like, that's absolutely easy, doable. I love the $5 challenge. Is there any hashtag that goes along with it? So that it can trend.
It's
5 Alive.
It's the dollar, the number sign, and then the number 5, and then the word alive challenge.
All right, so I'm gonna write this down real quick so that everybody can. And I challenge all my viewers to be a part of this, because you can change somebody's life without even realizing that it's only costing you $5, right? So let's see. Is that it? Hold on. No.
We need the word challenge.
Oh, we got to put the word challenge.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So it's 5 Alive challenge. And then usually when we post about it, we'll put in the 5 Alive challenge, and then afterward we'll have viral. Yes.
Okay. Right. I spelled challenge. I'm not dyslexic tonight. Okay. Perfect. I just wanted to get out there. I definitely challenge all my viewers to participate in this. There's so much good that can come from this. My slogan for the show is, if all you've experienced is all you know, then you are in a deficit of knowledge. And if you haven't experienced a loved one or yourself go through cancer treatment, you can't even imagine the strength that it takes, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. I mean, there's so many different components to it. Me being a hospice nurse, and I always say that, I get to see it through so many families, and it happens differently too, right?
Yeah.
You see the ones who are fortunate enough to have the care and the finances and no issues, and then you have the ones who don't have that, and the care looks so different. It definitely looks so different. Someone who is going through active treatment should not have to worry about where they're going to live during treatment.
Correct.
Correct. That's I can't even imagine. And I didn't even, until I met you and understood what you did, it wasn't something that crossed my mind. Like, it wasn't something I thought about. Even being in hospice, I didn't think about that. I automatically assumed that there was disability for it.
Yeah.
That's
And
just
then
good.
that's what people thought. Because I had no idea about what was really going on until I experienced it. Because when you just said that a person shouldn't have to, choose of where they live. Oh, I can remember this woman. This was years ago. She was sharing an apartment with a roommate, got diagnosed with cancer, ended up in the hospital because, well, she ended up losing her job. Then she had surgery. While she was in the hospital, the roommate moved out because she felt they weren't going to be able to afford the apartment. Um, they got evicted, didn't pay the rent. And while the young lady was in the hospital having had a mastectomy, so she had her breast removed, when she was to be released, she found out that she didn't have a place to go to.
Oh,
And so here's the thing, the hospital put her up in a hotel for 10 days. And it's like, after 10 days,
what happened?
hopefully you find a place to live. And fortunately, somebody knew somebody that knew somebody that knew how to get a hold of me. And I was like, what the what? I'm about to I'm telling everybody. It's like,
There
don't
you
don't
go.
don't give me ammunition, because you give me ammunition, I'm telling. And so, and I reached out and fortunately spoke with the hotel where she was staying at, and explained that this woman was now homeless. She had drains in her chest and she was battling cancer and doing chemo, that she needed to stay in the hotel. And so we worked out a price and we paid for her to stay there for a whole 30 days. At the same time, we were able to partner with another organization to get her a place to live. And so we were
Oh,
able to find housing and coordinate that as well. And people were like, "Oh my God, you guys do stuff that no other cancer organization does." And I'm like, I
yeah,
know,
you do.
because because
You could teach them a thing or two.
I understand. I really, really get it. I mean, I remember back in 2014 when St. Jude reached out to us, which people are like, St. Jude? Y'all get referrals from St. Jude? Wait a minute. We're like, yes. And St. Jude provides no cost treatment to children that have life threatening diseases. So the children battling cancer, if they're come from out of town, the parents get to stay in the Ronald McDonald House for free, which is an absolute blessing for them. However, once treatment is over with, if the family hasn't had support paying their bills at home, they have no home to go home to. They find out that the lights have been cut off, or the car's gotten repossessed, or they're facing eviction and stuff like that. They rely heavily on extended family members who may or may not be able to give them the support they need. And so St. Jude came to this revelation, and they reached out to try to find an organization that could help the families pay their bills, and they found us. And so when we got the call, it was like, absolutely, St. Jude. Of course, we would love to partner with you. St. Jude, you provide the treatment for the babies, and it's an opportunity for us to help. Will you help us raise money? And
What
that's
was
when they said no.
it?
And they explained why, and which
Okay.
I understood. And their reason was because the money that St. Jude raises funds the hospital, make it possible for the kids to still get no cost treatment. I get it. I really do. All I know is you want to send families to us and you don't want to help us raise money, but you agree that we are the missing link. You agree, but won't include helping the families directly as part of your model. And so I'm like, come on,
Wow.
cancer organizations. Why do I have to be the one to walk in the room and then all y'all looking at me? Because I'm about to tell. Because I mean, I'm telling.
Yes, as you
Because
should.
I want people to know that, it is what it is. I
Listen,
understand that.
even if they took
Mhm.
1% and passed
Ooh,
it
don't get
through,
me started.
1%,
Mhm,
you don't even need
mhm,
10%, 1%,
mhm,
and
mhm,
ciphered it through as a
mhm.
system, like, I mean, see, these are the
And
things
and
that
here's
aren't talked
and
about.
here see, and here's the thing. I'm not asking them to take this percentage and give it to us. Keep it. Use it to
Just
help
help
the
us.
people that need it. And so, like in Ohio, we have this event. It's called Pelotonia, the big bicycle race. Um, and I can remember before the very first race having a conversation with them, asking them if they would take 10% of whatever they raise and put it in a fund that the James Cancer Hospital would then use those dollars to help families at the James pay bills when they need help paying their bills. Because they were the goal before the first race was to raise $1 million. And I was like, well, if they raise $1 million and they set aside 10% to help the families, that's $100,000 to help the families that are in treatment at the James. It's a win-win-win all the way around. I'm not trying to get none of it. Can you guys do this? And they said no. And so after the first race, I think they raised, if I remember right, they raised like $3.4 million, something like that. And I was like, that would be $340,000 to help the families in treatment at the James that they could use to help them pay their bills. So I was sick. What made me more sick was that 2 weeks after that, after they made the huge announcement of the success of this race, we got a referral from the James Cancer Hospital. It was 2 families. One family, I'll never forget, one family needed $875 and the other family needed $525.
Are you kidding me?
And I was like, I was hot. I was like, right.
No.
And I was like, see, and I was like, okay, I appreciate Pelotonia raising millions and millions of dollars to help fund cancer research. I get it, but I still know that there's people that are battling cancer that need help paying their bills. That's all I know. And I'm like, if I have to stand toe to toe with the powers that be, I will do that.
He knew who he was appointing to that seat. He knew. He ain't get it wrong. Dion wants to know, does your organization have different chapters or groups around the U.S.?
So we do not have different chapters around the U.S., and there is a reason. When I first started the organization, I had the privilege of sitting down with Lance Armstrong and their financial people. So, Lance Armstrong with Livestrong, Tour de France, Lance, all that. And we had a conversation because at first I was like, well, we'll be like the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and we will have, we'll have chapters in every major city in every state. And then it was brought to my attention that they also have attorneys on retainer. So in case, something goes wrong and to protect their thing. And I was like, And so I was like, what's a better model? And so the better model was what was explained the way Livestrong does it, where people raise money all across the country and they send it to Texas, and then Texas manages the disbursement of the funds. And so that's what we do versus having different chapters. Because when you have chapters, there's no guarantee that they're doing right in the individual chapters. And that's why the Komen Foundation has attorneys on retainer, paying them millions of dollars to put out, fires should they come up. So, and like I said, that's their model, and I no shame, no shade at all. I get it. I am an advocate for people. And I know that there's too many men, women, and parents of children battling cancer that are suffering, making the decision to pay bills or seek treatment. And I have a problem with that.
Listen, I thank you for just enlightening us to this side of the view, because nobody gets to see this side of the balcony, right? We only know what we're told, and that's it. And I think it's very important for you to spread the message the way you've been spreading it. And, you are a woman of means in regard to finding your resources on what you need. I applaud you for that. I hold you in high regard and esteem. You're getting it done. And like I said, he did not make it a mistake when he appointed you to that seat at all. He knew who he was put in there. All right. And you're getting it done. Yeah. And I want to help with that. And I do this for all my guests that come on that have organizations that need fundraising. I give. So you'll get a donation from me. That's off the bat. That's what I do. My heart is in so many different places. I just can't do it all. So I try every little bit that I can to spread it where I can. I do ask, we are hitting that hour mark, and I do ask every guest on the show my final question. And that question is, if you could leave us with one piece of lasting advice, what would it be?
My one piece of lasting advice would be this. There is someone in your future waiting for you to become the person that you're supposed to become life's obstacles the challenges we face are not for us. They're really for us to be an example to someone else. So there's somebody in your future that's watching, waiting for you to make it through that situation. So be encouraged that know that this too shall pass.
Thank you so much. Please tell everybody where they can find you. I have the website out. Again, it's www.theCOCcares.org. But can they just find you as Mary Jenkins on all the platforms, or what are we looking for?
You can find me as Mary Jenkins or Mary Jenkins on Facebook. I'm Mary Jenkins on Facebook. I'm thinking Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, the little A app symbol with the COC cares. We're out there. You can find us.
If we go to the website, are all your social media there for the organization at that site? Like at the
yes.
There you go. So that's your one-stop shop, people. www.theCOCcares.org. I implore you to try the challenge. Okay. It's hashtag 5Alive challenge. So you make the $5 monthly donation, then you invite your friends to do it, and then you share it. And if we all can make that goal, that we're gonna do this. This is what we're gonna do. This is what I am gonna do for the year. Even if you say 3 months, 6 months, whatever, something. The fact that you're doing it and that you're sharing it will mean a world to people you don't even know. And I don't know. It warms my heart, Mary, to know the work that you are doing. I am in awe of you. So make sure you go over to www.theCOCcares.org. All right, check it out. Donate. I'm going to donate. I always do that. And if you don't believe me, go check out the page and see if I did. I don't know if you can, but I'm just trying to get you out to the page. So I'm going to leave you guys with what I always leave at the end of the show, which is if all you've experienced is all you know, then you are in a deficit of knowledge. I want to thank you again, Mary, so much for coming on. We will definitely stay in touch. I want to kind of see where everything is going, how everything's going. I want to thank all the viewers for chiming in, leaving comments, asking questions. Thank you for joining the Cipher this evening. If you are a new viewer and you like what you see, click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification button so you can get notifications of when I go live every Sunday, 8 p.m. Sometimes I do on Saturdays too. So make sure you click that button. Again, everybody, thank you so much. One love.